How do you fix your webinar so that people actually buy from you? When people message me, one of the biggest questions they have is, I have a webinar running, but people aren't buying. How do I fix that? That's what we're going to answer today. Before we jump into it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss a video that will make you money. Make sure you grab my free course in the description that will show you everything you need to know about webinars. All right, let's jump into it. So what do you think is the most important part of your webinar? Is it the front half or the back half? Which one do you think needs fixed the most to get more sales? Leave your answer in the comments below. I'll be sure to respond to you. So you might be holding your webinar and people just aren't staying long enough to buy from you. Or you might get some people on right at the beginning, but they bounce off really fast. We're going to cover the top 3 places that people bounce off of your webinar that are costing you money. The first one is if they come on and they fall off within the first 2 or 3 minutes. The second place is they stay on your webinar, but they fall off at the offer point or right before it. And the third one is they stay all the way through and listen to your offer, but they don't buy. All right, so number 1, think about this for a second. Have you ever signed up for somebody's webinar, you click the button, you log in, and within the first couple minutes, you're like, this person just doesn't really connect with me. I don't know, I got busy on Facebook, doing something else, and you jumped off? Think about that for a second. Why did that happen? Our brain wants to know why we are there and wants to know what is in it for us. So right away, at the beginning of your webinar, it's not important to show all your credentials. It's not important to talk about yourself. What it's important to talk about is the results that you get for people. You should have 5 testimonials in the first 3 minutes of your webinar. Now, these testimonials don't have to be long. They just need to be there to show people that you get an outcome. The second thing you need within the first 5 minutes is a clear outcome of what people will get when they listen to your webinar. When they tune in, what are they going to learn and what is the clear outcome that they are going to get in their life, in their business that matters to them? That is what you need in the first 5 minutes in order to get people to say, raise their hand and say, this is for me. This will affect my life. I want to be here. You might have seen some people, they do this webinar or this training, this masterclass is for you if, and they list out bullet points. That gets people to say, yes, this is for me. I do want to stay. So if you have people jumping off in the very beginning, that is one of the places that you can fix it. Usually that gets people to tune in and they will stay on longer. The second thing we're going to talk about is what happens if you get people past the first 5 minutes, but they're trailing off somewhere around the 15 to 20 minute mark. They're not staying to hear your offer. This is something a lot of people come to me with. They say, I've had this webinar, I've spent thousands of dollars in ads, and we're getting a few sales, but not that many people are actually staying on. So if I look at their webinar and they have 100 people coming in the front and they only have 30, 40, 50 staying for the offer, I know that this is a massive place that I can shift their webinar so that they will make more money. And what we look at is how many stories are you using? So a good webinar, I've broke down more than 100 webinars and presentations, and an okay webinar has somewhere between 0 and 10 stories. A good webinar has 10 to 15, maybe they're getting in the 20 story range, and then a great webinar has 20, 30, 40 stories. The best webinars have 60 plus. Now, when I say stories, there are several different kinds of stories that you can use on your webinar. The ones that work, you need your hero's journey story. You need a little bit longer story for each of the teaching points to frame those in your mind. But the other stories are kind of like stories. They're stories that show people how something is as a simile, right? So you might remember back in high school, you had a great teacher and you had a lot of boring teachers, right? Which one did you like the most? You liked your exciting teacher, right? They broke things down. They made things exciting. They used stories. They made it engaging. They did not teach more than the other teachers. The other teachers probably taught more. You would go in and right away they would start lecturing and you would fall asleep, right? Or you dart out the back door, you pass notes. That is a kind of like story that works really well to explain a concept. Those stories need to be prevalent in your webinar because it gets people excited, right? Stories are the number one thing we look at when we're looking to build engagement and have people stay on from the start till the offer. So that's number 2. Number 3 is you have people staying all the way through, but they're not buying from you. Now, I've worked with 3 companies in the last month to radically shift their offer portion of their webinar. This is where a lot of people get it wrong, and you have to have a super solid stack. What do I mean by that? Well, you have to, in a buyer's mind, there's a scale, right? This side is if it goes up, they'll buy. This side is where the value goes. And as you add value, it causes this side to go up. A lot of people make their offer and they only put a little bit of value here. The way that you change this is not by dumping everything on them at the front, but it's by breaking it up and adding value and adding value and adding value. If you look at the great webinars out there, they do this really well through a stack slide. The stack slide usually has your main offer, and then it has 4 to 6 supporting pieces plus 2 bonuses. The reason you do this and the reason you go through your stack really, really well each time is because every time you do it, you're adding more value. You're getting people off of the maybe fence. I'm going to do a video that is going to explain exactly what the maybe fence is and how to get people off of it. But here's what you need to know for this video. As soon as you put up your first pricing slide, 10% of people are going to say yes, 10% are going to say no, and 80% are going to say maybe. Jason Faladin is the person who taught me this. I'm going to expand on it a little bit more for you though. Think about this. This happens with every buying decision. As soon as you know what the price is, you say maybe. Maybe I want that. And that's what you're trying to get to right at the beginning. Everything you add after that is just to move people past the maybe fence, get them to jump off the maybe fence and buy from you. And the way you do that is you keep adding value, you keep stacking value. There are a couple other pieces that we can do in the stack to really, really move people forward. We'll get to that in another video. But these are the 3 key things that will take people that come onto your webinar and have them stay all the way through and buy from you. So now that you know the 3 things that we can use to fix your webinar so that people come on at the beginning, stay all the way through the end, and buy from you, where do you think most webinars fall short? Leave your answer in the comments down below. I would love to hear about it. If you know that webinars are the best way to grow your business, make sure to grab my free course in the description. Also, if you have a webinar that is not converting the way that you want it to, make sure that you schedule a VIP breakdown with me. VIP breakdown, I will go through your webinar line by line, frame by frame, slide by slide, and I'll show you exactly what needs fixed, what is working, and how to get more conversions on your webinar. You can book this down below. Last but not least, if you know webinars are what you need to grow your business and you don't have one and you would like me to build it with you from scratch, book a VIP strategy call. It's in the description down below. We will build out your webinar. We'll build the presentation. We'll build the slide deck with you. I'll critique you and give you feedback so that you present it just like a rock star would. We'll also work on your front end funnel and your follow-up email sequence so that you have a webinar that is built from scratch that converts in the way that you need it to grow your business. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss a video that will make you money. And until next time, take action, change lives, and make money. I'll see you soon.